Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something I think pretty much everyone runs into, dealing with people who come across as, well, arrogant. Especially when you're trying to learn something or, get ahead at work.
Oh, definitely. We all know the type, right? The person who acts like they know everything, maybe talks over others.
Interrupts constantly, yeah. Always needs to be the smartest one there.
It's more than just irritating, though, isn't it? It can genuinely knock you off balance, make you doubt yourself even.
It really can. So for this deep dive, you shared a piece called How to Deal with Arrogant People and Grow Without Harm.
Yeah, and it had some really practical insights, I thought. It looks at why people might act that way, suggesting it's often not strength, but maybe hiding insecurity.
Exactly. That really got my eye, too. It's not just complaining about them. It's offering, actual strategies, a toolkit.
Right.
So our mission today is basically to unpack those strategies.
Yeah.
We want listeners to come away with concrete things they can try.
So they can handle these situations better.
Yeah, and keep their own growth on track. So the big question we're trying to answer is, how can you effectively deal with arrogant people, say at school or work, and keep learning and growing without letting their behavior, harm you?
That's the core challenge. So where does the source suggest we start? Often it's about that initial reaction we have.
Right, the gut reaction. The article points out, and it makes sense, that we often feel this urge to fight fire with fire.
You mean like if they're loud, you get louder. If they state opinions like facts, you state yours even stronger?
Exactly. It's like this reflex, isn't it? They come at you strong and you want to push back just as hard, prove you know your stuff too.
But the source suggests, maybe counterintuitively, a different first step. Observation.
Just watching, taking a step back.
Yeah, sort of observing the dynamic. The idea is pretty interesting. Often, that kind of arrogant behavior tends to expose itself without you needing to jump in immediately.
How so? What does that look like in practice?
Well, think about it. If someone's constantly holding court, interrupting, how are others actually reacting? Are people persuaded, annoyed, tuning out?
Ah, okay. So you're gathering data, kind of, seeing how their behavior lands with everyone else, not just you.
Exactly. You might see eye rolls, you might see people disengaging, and sometimes their own arguments might not even hold up under scrutiny if you just listen quietly for a bit.
And this ties into something else the source mentioned, using silence strategically, which again feels a bit backwards. You feel like you need to talk more.
Right. But imagine someone's dominating, expecting constant pushback or engagement. Your thoughtful silence can actually be quite powerful.
Does it just make things awkward for them?
It can, a little. It disrupts their flow. They might be looking for that reaction, that fight. If they don't get it, it can sometimes make them pause. Or at least it stops you from getting dragged into an argument you don't want to have.
So you conserve your energy.
Precisely. And then, if and when you do decide to speak, your words might actually carry more weight because you haven't been part of the noise. You've been selective.
Okay, that makes sense. Observing, maybe using silence. But sometimes, you can't just stay silent, right? Especially if their behavior is directly stopping you from contributing or learning.
Absolutely. And that's where the source moves into the next key area, setting boundaries.
This feels crucial. You can't just let people walk all over you.
No, you can't. But the emphasis here is on setting those boundaries calmly and clearly. It's not about starting a fight. It's about stating what's not okay.
Like if someone keeps interrupting you.
Exactly. Or uses dismissive language, or just generally doesn't respect that you have a voice too, you need to draw a line.
The article gave some useful phrases, didn't it? Simple things.
Yeah, really straightforward. Things like, excuse me, I wasn't finished speaking, or maybe I hear your point and I'd like a chance to share mine as well.
They're direct, but not aggressive.
That's the key. They're assertive. You're stating your need, the need to finish your thought, the need to contribute without attacking the other person's character.
So it focuses on the behavior, not the person.
Right. You're holding your ground respectfully, protecting your space to participate.
Okay. So you observe, you set boundaries calmly. Now, the next point really shifted the focus inwards, which I thought was powerful. It's about your own growth.
Yes, this is a fundamental mindset shift the source talks about. You can't really change someone else's arrogance, can you?
Probably not easily, no.
But you have, complete control over your own learning, your own development. That has to remain your primary focus.
So see their arrogance as, noise.
Yeah.
A potential distraction from what you're actually there to do.
Pretty much. Don't let it derail your goals. Keep your eyes on what you want to achieve, the skills you want to build, the knowledge you want to gain.
And the advice about responding with clarity and confidence, rather than, emotional reactivity, that feels connected to this.
It is. Because when you react emotionally, getting angry, getting defensive, you're kind of giving them power, aren't you?
Yeah, you're letting them get under your skin.
And you're diverting energy away from your actual purpose. If you can respond calmly, confidently, focusing on the substance of the issue, it signals you're not playing their game.
You stay professional, you stay focused.
Exactly. It reinforces your own self-assurance.
Okay, this is all really helpful, but let's be honest, dealing with this kind of behavior consistently, it can be exhausting. Which brings us to the next idea. Protecting your mental energy.
Oh, absolutely critical. The source points out that some people, maybe not even consciously, thrive on getting a reaction.
They like knowing they've provoked someone.
It can validate them, in a way, make them feel like they've won the interaction or asserted dominance. So a key strategy is creating some emotional distance.
Meaning, don't let it get to you so much.
Essentially, yes. And recognizing that not every single challenging comment or dismissive look actually requires a response from you.
That's hard, though. There's this pressure to correct them or defend yourself against every little thing.
I know it feels like you should. But the source suggests asking yourself, is this battle worth my energy right now? Sometimes choosing not to engage is the stronger move.
Letting it go.
Letting certain things slide, yeah.
Yeah.
Choosing your peace, as the article puts it. It denies them the reaction they might be looking for, and crucially, it saves your mental fuel for things that actually matter, like your work, your learning.
So not engaging isn't weakness, it's strategic energy management.
You could definitely put it that way. You're in control of where you invest your focus and energy.
Okay. And the final point the source brought up was about not going it alone, the importance of a support system.
Yes, because these situations can feel really isolating sometimes, can't they? You might wonder, is it just me? Am I being too sensitive?
Totally. You start questioning your own judgment.
So connecting with others is vital. Colleagues who might see the same things, trusted mentors, even friends outside that specific environment who you can just vent to.
Just talking about it can make a difference, can it? Getting that validation, like, no, you're not crazy, that person is difficult.
It really can. It reminds you you're not alone in experiencing this. And sometimes others might have useful perspectives or strategies they've used themselves.
So leaning on your network is a strength.
Absolutely. Seeking support, sharing experiences, it helps you process things and maintain perspective.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the main strategies we've dug into from the source. First, there's the idea of observing the situation rather than immediately jumping in to compete.
Right, using observation and maybe even strategic silence.
Then, setting clear, calm boundaries when needed, using direct but respectful language.
Protecting your space.
Third, keeping your main focus firmly on your own growth and goals, not getting sidetracked by their behavior.
Staying on your path.
Fourth, actively protecting your mental energy by choosing when not to react or engage.
Making conscious choices about where your energy goes.
And finally, building and using a support system.
Yeah.
Talking to others, getting perspective.
Don't underestimate the power of connection.
And like you said earlier, these aren't just theories. These are actual practical tools people can try out.
Exactly. In meetings, in class, online, wherever you run into this. By focusing on managing your own response and staying true to your own journey, you really can lessen the negative hit from someone else's arrogance.
Definitely. It puts the power back in your hands. So here's a final thought to leave our listeners with, building on something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
If the source is right, and arrogance often does stem from some kind of underlying insecurity, how might really internalizing that idea change how you approach these interactions?
Interesting question.
Could acknowledging their possible vulnerability without, excusing the bad behavior at all, could that actually give you more power to stay calm and focused? Something to think about.